This is a quote from Henry Wallach, who was former governor of America's Federal Reserve Bank. Growth is a substitute for equality of income. So long as there is growth, people feel there's hope, and that makes large income differences tolerable. You know, I think we do all have that feeling that, okay, we live better than our parents, in some sense we're moving up. But actually why it's all a sort of zero-sum game is because everyone moves up together, and what's happening, you know, is that this sort of status competition is leading us to destroy the planet in terms of CO2 levels and so on. I'm come to the end of my time, but I do just want to point out that very first graph I showed you, which was life expectancy against national income per capita. If on the bottom you put not national income per capita, but CO2 emissions per capita, you get a curve exactly the same. So there, the poorer countries, early stages of economic development, rapid rise in life expectancy. And here are all the rich countries on the flat part of the curve. And basically, we're getting nothing from consuming or emitting hugely much more CO2 emissions. I mean, there's 5 tons per capita, and there's 20 tons per capita in the USA. I should have, yes, there's Ireland. You're about, what is that, about 12 probably. UK is there, 10. But where we get the maximum social benefits for the minimum CO2 emissions is basically in that circle. And so, you know, if you think of contraction and convergence, we want the more unequal, the poorer countries to move up into that circle, so they get the high life expectancies, the lowest possible CO2 emissions, and all these, what you might call overdeveloped societies, we want them to move back into that circle. That's the only way we're going to get by environmentally. And an important point, I think, is that, you know, that graph reflects existing technology. You can achieve those levels of life expectancy at such much lower levels of CO2 emissions than we're producing at the moment on existing technology. And if we introduce the much more efficient and the renewable forms of power and so on, we can do even better than that. But the real threat to environmental policies is consumerism. You know, it's that insatiable, endlessly pushing up income, pushing up levels of consumption that we've got to deal with. And a precondition for dealing with it is to reduce inequality, because it's inequality that fires up that status competition and pressure to consume. So, unless I've forgotten something, yeah, I'll leave out some of that. I better stop. You can get most of this in our book or from the Equality Trust website.